Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. I'm going to do your January the 8th, just for today, in a meditation. Let's go ahead and get into that. How are you doing today? I hope that you are doing well. Remember that you're important today. Take good care of yourself. As a matter of fact, the title of the meditation goes along with that thought, growing up. Growing up. Our spiritual condition is the basis for a successful recovery that offers unlimited growth. That comes from the basic text, page 44. When our members celebrate their recovery anniversaries, they often say that they've grown up in NA. Well, then we think, what does that mean? We start to wonder if we're grown-ups yet. We check our lives, and yes, all the trappings of adulthood are there: the checkbook, the children, the job, the responsibilities. On the inside, though, we often feel like children. We're still confused by life much of the time. We don't always know how to act. We sometimes wonder whether we're really grown-ups at all, or whether we're children who've somehow been put into adult bodies and given adult responsibilities. Growth is not best measured by physical age or levels of responsibility. Our best measure of growth is our spiritual condition, the basis of our recovery. If we're still depending on people, places, and things to provide our inner satisfaction, like a child depending on its parents for everything, we do indeed have some growing to do. But if we stand secure on the foundation of our spiritual condition, considering its maintenance our most important responsibility, we can claim maturity. Upon that foundation, our opportunities for growth are limitless. Just for today, the measure of my maturity is the extent to which I take responsibility for the maintenance of my spiritual condition. Today, this will be my highest priority. Such a beautiful meditation. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. Talking about growing up, talking about being a child in a grown person's body. That's not what we're talking about. Although we sometimes wonder, right? We do sometimes wonder if we're just children deposited into a grown person's body and given all of the trappings of aging, which brings responsibilities. We do wonder that sometimes. And quite honestly, if we were to, talk about a person that we're observing act childish, that's exactly what we would think, quite honestly, right? 100%. We would think, oh, okay, that's a little girl in a grown woman's body, meaning that you can do all of the things that a grown body can do, right? Make babies, get a job, have a checking account. But the mind, the spirit, right, is still childlike because of the priorities that your actions say you've set, right? Because of the way that you act. It tells a lot about us individually, right? So hopefully, it may not be the case, and it may just be that This is the first conversation that you've been able to have about immaturity, right? But hopefully, we're no longer doing those things. Hopefully, our inner self, right, our spirit individual has grown up and our actions are matching the level of growth that we've made. Now, I don't know if you heard that. That is a very definite statement. Hopefully, our spirit, our spiritual selves have grown up, have matured, and our actions are actually matching that level of maturity. You know, that would mean that we're no longer going around and saying, I did that because of my disease, or I'm just only human. Okay. Okay. I know one thing from MightyStream. I don't know about anybody else. And I certainly this weekend was faced with opportunities to not really act mature. I had several opportunities to step to the left a little bit, right? Behavior wise. There were plenty of opportunities that I could say, okay, I know I'm grown. I know that I've matured in recovery. I've grown up in NA. But in this one instance, I'm just going to put a few words on this person. I'm just going to act out just a little bit. But it's okay because I'm an addict. No. You know why? Because I still have my 10th step to do. I still have my 10th step, my daily inventory to do. And I'm not trying to add anything to it needlessly. I'm not trying to add prompt amends to anything. So we get to make a decision. I make the decision, you make the decision, they make the decision. Everyone gets an opportunity to make a decision before they act. That's why we really can't go around and just say, I wasn't thinking. I did it before I knew it. I said it slipped out my. No, we've matured in recovery. So that affords us the opportunity, right? The opportunity to act different. You know, there's a listener that asked me the question, what does the third step mean to me? And I spent about, I don't know, I kept coming back to it because I was so exhausted by the time I got home and I saw it and I kept trying to come back to it. And I was on my phone and I could barely see my phone. And so I kept deleting and misspelling things. And I said, you know what? It's not that serious. This is a sincere question, and I will give it a sincere answer when I have the energy. What does the third step mean to me? This meditation is really what I was trying to say it meant to me, right? Because we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. Okay, I made a decision, which means that I had a choice to make. You don't go around making a decision unless there's a choice to make. What did you decide to do? Well, I decided to pop popcorn. I decided to have some ramen noodles. I decided to cook a home cooked meal instead for my family. Well, I had some choices. You don't make a decision unless there's some choices. So when it says we made a decision, that indicates the MightyStream I had a choice. To do what? To turn my will over. My will and my life, mind you, right? Because when I think about will, I think about the soul. I think of mind, will, and emotions being the definition of what a soul is, right? So I'm turning everything that is within me, including the capacity to wake up every morning, to breathe, my life, my will in my life. I'm turning all of that over, meaning that it's in my possession. I own it. I have it. I'm making a decision because I have a choice. And the decision is that I've turned my will and my life over to. So I've decided to take it from myself and give it willingly, by choice, over to the care of God. Right? Of my understanding, not yours or anybody else's. So I'm doing that. I can't really say I don't know who or what the God of my understanding is. It's really like a very integral piece of the step. Loving, caring, and greater than myself, right? So I have some idea of what this higher power is to me. I'm just not, I'm not giving $1,000 to somebody I don't know. I mean, I might, but I doubt. I'm not turning over anything out of my bank account to someone I don't know. And if I'm doing it online, it better have something that indicates that they have been run through the system and this is a verified enterprise, right? It's secure. So when I'm turning my will and my life over to the care of God, of my own understanding, I have the understanding. It doesn't matter that the understanding isn't fully developed, but there must be an understanding. There must be the desire to willfully turn all of that, of what I am, over. That takes a lot of trust. But here's the other thing. That means that I'm changing the ability to use excuses. That's what the third step means to me, is that I don't have any excuses anymore. I don't. Not if I'm doing something as powerful as turning my will and my life over from myself to something else that I call God, that I understand as God. It's refreshing. It's refreshing because the weight, the responsibility of everything going perfectly is no longer mine. I don't have that control obsession anymore. I mean, I may have it, I guess, you come to a point where you eventually get tired of it, right? Entirely. Step 6. And you humbly ask the same God to take it away from you. Your shortcomings, right? So you may still have it, but I'm aware at this point that there's these two entities, myself and my God. And I'm making a choice between which one I'm going to work with. And that doesn't mean that I disappear. I don't have mindful thought. It doesn't mean I disappear and don't have an opinion. And no. It means that everything that I am is now supersized in a positive way because of the relationship with my higher power. And that's growing up to me. That's growing up. When my actions now begin to reflect that I'm no longer in self-will, I'm no longer in self-will. I'm working to be in God's will. And when I put it in that perspective of third step, yeah, you're right. We've grown up in recovery. We have grown up, and now our actions are starting to line up with that level of maturity. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. Today, we're going to measure our maturity, right? In the fact that we're taking responsibility for the maintenance of our spiritual condition. That means I need to take care of my my spiritual condition. That's what that means. That means that I do that on a daily basis. I do that moment to moment. I do that second to second. I do that when people check me and I make a decision to allow myself to be uncomfortably checked and give a proper response so that I don't have to live with the embarrassment or the shame or the guilt of my behavior. That whoever calls themselves checking me, and if they're wrong, then they get to live with that. They get to recover from that. I don't have to do it, right? That's just an example of maintenance. That's an example of applying these spiritual principles. What? Yes, in all of our affairs. All? Yes, all. That's a sign of growing up. And so I know that you can do it because I know that you have done it. And if I've done it once, my mind is aware of that. And that information of being able to make healthy decisions is stored within the fibers of my mind. And it can be called forth at any time. Isn't that something? That those good decisions, the ability to make those good decisions, have developed these little grooves in my brain. And at some point in time, I can call that stuff all the way back to the front. I remember when this happened and I did such and such, and it worked out good when I did that, when I turned my will over. I'm going to do that again. Right? Yeah. It's like scanning your life and saying, I remember when I was turning my will and my life over, and it really worked for me. I remember when I acted maturely in a very bad situation, and it worked out well for me. I had some peace. Oh, let me make the right decision, because we do have a choice. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose.